Welcome to our pre-match press conference to preview our game against Brighton this weekend. We'll start off with Vinny from Sky Sports.
David, obviously it is the first Premier League game at Hill Dickinson Stadium. How does it feel now that it's finally here? Has there been a change to the routine this week as well? Like training up there a little bit more?
No, we've not trained up there this week. We've tried to put best use to our time as we can at the training ground. But we're all really looking forward to the new stadium. It's been something which has been in the horizon for so long and it's now here. So big moment for everybody. We've had the chance to be down a couple of times already. So we hope we can get used to it as quickly as we can. Everybody knows that a new stadium is never that easy, but something we're all really excited about having now.
After all your time working with Bill Kenwright during your first spell here and all the talk then of a new home, what personal pride is there that it's you going to be leading Everton into that new home?
Well, I think Bill would probably take more pride than MD. I think Bill would have, if I'm saying so, I think Bill would have hoped that Adam been the one who took them into the new stadium. It's really sad that he's not here because he put so much effort into it and probably come under an awful lot of criticism at different times as well for many things. But you have to say that they've got to a point where Evertonians have now got a new stadium. It'll be with us hopefully for the next 100, 200 years. Who knows how long the new stadium will be with us. So for many generations, you know, they've got a lot to be thankful for, and Bill Kenwright plays a big part in getting it going.
But do you see it as something fitting in your own story with the football club?
Well, I think in some ways it does, because to be at any one club in the first period for 11 and a half years takes some doing in any level of football. As I've said many times, there's a few big managers who've managed clubs for long times. But when you get to that sort of level, it's very difficult to stay that long at one club. I've had a great affiliation with Everton over the years, and I'm very fortunate to be back. And it just happens to be I'm back in time for the new stadium. You know, it could have easily been other great managers who've managed at this club, but I feel that maybe it was written in the stars in some way that I would get the opportunity to do so.
Throughout both your spells here, we've always said there's always pressure to get results, obviously, but does it feel like there's that extra pressure to get that first win at the new home? I
remember last year when I came in, it felt like the pressure to get results to stay in the Premier League. Then I had the pressure of could we win the last game at Goodison? It was in the derby. Then it was could we win the last game at Goodison as well? So I think every tour you go, you can put those words on it. It's the first game at a new stadium. We're all really excited about it, looking forward to it. Hope the crowd are really excited by it as well. We have to give them something to shout about, and hopefully we can do that.
I was going to say, what is your message to the fans? Because obviously you want to take as much of that best Goodison atmosphere to
well, there would be no point in us knocking Goodison down, or I know Goodison's still there, or moving from Goodison if they weren't going to come with the same vigour and the same support. I think we've got the best part of another 20,000 Evertonians in the new stadium, and the club have tried to give the supporters better hospitality, better seating, better viewing, more comfort. So I hope that the supporters, and I'm sure they will give that bit back to show their appreciation and get behind the team at the new stadium.
You played Brighton third game into your return, 1-0 win down there. What do you expect from them this time around?
Well, let's be fair, Brighton are a very progressive football club who've continued to improve year on year. They buy and sell extremely well. Their model is very good for what their club needs. And more importantly, they've got a really good football team, and they have at the moment. So it'll be a tough game. Good football inside. I don't think MD gets an easy game against Brighton, and we don't expect that this week.
Just check on squad-wise, Mikalenko, Patterson, and how's Branthwaite's recovery going?
Jared's on the way but not fit. Neither's Mikalenko. And Nathan Patterson's not fit either, so those three are not available.
Asnu as well?
Asnu is trained today for the first time, so we'll see how he goes.
In terms of bringing in reinforcements, has there been any progress on the transfer front, and how confident are you being able to get those players in before the deadline?
I think I'd like to say yes, but that yes might mean that you're going to push me for more answers and more questions and what it might be. But I'd have to say I think we're trying to make way to get more players in. We're trying to do so. We've been disappointed that we've missed out on a lot of other players which have chosen not to come, or for different reasons of not being able to make it. But I think there's quite a few managers saying the same in the Premier League. But Yes, I think we're trying to make progress at the moment. Will it come off? I couldn't guarantee that, but we're definitely trying to move on.
Is this where I shouldn't throw names at you?
No, it'd be wrong to, because I'm just going to tell you, I don't talk about players at other clubs, so that's my stock answer.
Just to check as well, have you had any clarification on the handball law this week after what happened at Ellen Road?
No, we didn't, but I think generally the feeling all around the country now, it shouldn't have been given. I think generally, I know there's some people who have said, but I think the general feeling and the word I'm sort of getting from behind the scenes is that it was the wrong decision.
Do you think it's the law itself? It says in the law, not making yourself bigger.
Yeah.
James obviously isn't making himself bigger.
Well, look, let me tell you, I'm going to say it now, I don't want to talk any more about it. So I'm fed up sort of hearing about it, and I gave you my opinion. I gave my opinion after the game. We're entitled to give our opinion, and but it's gone now and we move on. The referees do a brilliant job. We've got really good referees, probably the best in Europe, I think. So I just felt that it was the wrong decision in midweek.
Thanks, David. Good luck.
Thanks, Vinny. We'll go to John Tipp, Premier League production.
Afternoon, David. And we talk about that frustration there at the tail end of the game on Monday night. How have you been able to channel that in the correct way to the players to ensure a positive performance this week?
Well, let's be fair. We didn't play well in the first half, but we played much better in the second half. Maybe not well enough to, but it really looked as if we could have been on the verge of getting something out of it. And when you look at the decision, you might have thought, well, if MD deserved to win the game, it was Leeds United, not us. But we've had a lot of games here where we've been quite resolute and stuck at it and maybe not played so well, but got results. It looked as if it could have been one of those nights, but it ended up not that way.
Glimpse of Jack Grealish. Can we expect to see him in the starting 11 this weekend? How pleased were you with his cameo, and how has he been settling?
Yeah,
for you?
I thought his glimpse was okay. I liked his glimpse, so let's see where it goes from there.
And likewise, new signing Tieno Barry came on late, replaced Carlos Alcaraz. Is that how you see your forward line fitting together? Would you go a Beto and Barry up front? Or
I think that the situation meant that with nothing to lose really at that time, we had to try and find a way of getting a goal back. I don't know if I would always go that way, but I wouldn't say that I wouldn't do it. I think I've done it in the past. But no, I'm probably more liable to choose one or the other.
And just finally from me in terms of the new stadium, is it important that your players just play the fixture rather than getting drawn into this whole fanfare around the pressures about a new ground and all that kind of thing?
I think we've talked about the new ground for a long time. Even my arrival in January, I think there was a talk even from then. Have you been to the new stadium? Have you seen it? No. Have you been down? What's it like? What's this? So we've probably had all that. I'm guessing after this week we'll probably find it. There's less talk about the new stadium. I think for me it's now talking about the new build of the team, the rebuild, all the new things that are going to have to happen now going forward. So that's it. I think we've got a stadium now, we've got that bit done. And obviously there's still bits to be done there as well, whether it knowing how to get there the best way or is all the design done behind the scenes. But in the main, we've got the stadium now. Now we've got to find a way of building a really strong Everton football team.
Brilliant, best of luck.
Thanks, John T. We'll go to Rob at 5 Live.
Hi, Rob.
Nice to hear you kind of talking about Bill there and your personal perspective ahead of the new stadium. I just wonder, actually, are you somewhat pleased that you get to do this now with that added perspective of where you are in your career and how it might have been different 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah. I've got to say, I didn't really ever expect to be doing this. I didn't think that. I actually thought I was looking forward to coming as a supporter and a football supporter to watch the games. I'd been invited back to Goodison to come and see some of the games. I'm looking forward to bringing my dad down. We'd both do it, and then I got offered the job. So suddenly, all this sort of fell in. End of Goodison, new stadium, etc. But also in the middle of that was, can you keep Everton up, which was the big bit, and the hard bit to do. But the one thing about footballers and even managers, we all get a chance to play in all the best stadiums, unbelievable stadiums all around Europe, all around the world. We played in some brilliant stadiums in America. So once you've done it, you're on with it, that's it, done, moved on. If I'm an Everton supporter, I'd be thrilled to be coming and getting the seating and the viewing, what I've got for the new stadium, because it's brilliant viewing in all parts of the stadium, and I hope we can turn it into a stadium which over many years, even beyond me and further, becomes something which we see has been really successful.
And on that, it's actually one of the most exciting things the acoustics, that unknown, the relationship between the sound and the space, and what that first big moment really feels like?
I think you're getting into music there for me, if that just sounds like that. So, but I think that the big space and the big area will be, it's a bit like everything else. I found it a little bit of the London Stadium is completely different because it's not so close to the pitch. It's really important that the supporters who gather in certain areas, I hope, keep together and we keep the fan base strong. I mean, I mentioned that I had a brilliant trip to watch some games in the Club World Cup in the summer, and I couldn't believe the atmosphere that the South Americans generated. In fact, it would have put any of the Premiership clubs to shame. It really would have. So I'm hoping that in the future maybe we'll get somewhere close to that.
And just one on the squad. When you get to a certain position of the window and you have added real quality, which you've spoken about, does there become a priority where it becomes about balance? Or is that always the case? Are you always looking to get that balance right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we've found now that we've really gone for some top players and tried to get them, and unfortunately we've not been able to get a lot of them. So we might be finding ourselves coming down a little bit of the ladder to find players because we're so short of numbers generally that we're going to have to adjust. We're going to have to look for different options in different players who we think can do jobs. And maybe this is always going to be a year where maybe the important thing is that we keep steady and we keep ourselves correct and make sure that we do all the right things in the Premier League.
Thanks, Rob. We'll go to Phil at Radio Merseyside.
Thank you. Hi,
Phil.
David. Your speech on the pitch at Goodison at the end of last season, where you said about the club doesn't feel broken anymore, whereas maybe it did when you arrived back at the club. Mm-hmm. What would you say about the feel of the club now to fans going into this new era, if you like?
Well, new romance. That we've got a new stadium we can fall in love with. That long marriage means a lot to do with how the team is and what team we put on the pitch over the years to come. You know, can we make that marriage last with the supporters and everybody at the club? So I think that we've got, that's the next bit, and that's what I keep saying now. I think we'll build a brilliant stadium now. Now the job's to try and build a brilliant team if we can do that and get to that point where we're more competitive than what we are. And well, I'm quite confident we can do that. We'll get the building blocks down. It's a difficult window, and it might be a difficult year for us as well. But we get the building blocks down, and hopefully we can start moving things along.
You mentioned the difficult window. I think it's over £2.37 billion spent by Premier League clubs, a record for this summer. Has that made it even more difficult than any other window you've had because there is more fierce competition than ever, you could say?
No, I don't think so. No, we've got money to spend. So we have money to spend, and we're trying to spend it. So we're in there, and we'll be competitive in doing that. So it's not that we don't have the money to spend. We certainly have, and we're doing that. We're trying to do that. We're finding it very difficult to spend the money, let me tell you, at the moment.
And just on that, were you expecting to have more players through the door by this point, or did you always know that it might be one where we're going to have to get some business done late just because of the sheer numbers that you're looking to add?
Simple answer, yes. Yeah.
And Jake O'Brien said after the game there were points where you didn't quite look at it. We've spoken a bit about the performance. Have you sort of looked to speak to the players about where you're at? Was that a surprise to you that you weren't quite at those levels for Leeds?
Yeah, but we weren't quite there. So talk to the players about it. We've trained. Hopefully, every game will improve on it. So no, we didn't feel as if we're at it. But again, I've discussed it. You know, it could have been a different. We could have been sitting here saying we'd picked up a half decent point, maybe not the best. We've played quite often where we've not played our best and taken some from it. This game we didn't take any from it.
Cheers, Phil. We'll go to Carl at the Press Association.
Hi, Carl.
Hey, David. Just one on there. You said there you've got money to spend and you're sort of struggling to spend it, and players have maybe not wanted to come here. You've got a new stadium. You've got relatively new ownership. Everton are considered a legacy club. So what do you think is the barrier that's stopping you?
Absolutely, European football. Having a chance to manage at a club. If you've got European football, you attract a different level of player. You're more attractive. we've got to build up an awful lot of trust with players and maybe agents and different things to show that we're a club moving in the right direction and positive. I think our ownership of come in and helped us. Obviously, they'll give us a chance to spend more money and look as if we're going to build. But I believe the better players want European football. Most of them are. A lot of them do.
So without wishing to put a target in your mouth, is that sort of imperative this season? Is trying to get into Europe to be able to improve your squad in the future?
Well, no, I don't think it's imperative that it happens. But I think that you asked me why I didn't think the players were choosing. I think a lot of them are looking for Europe. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Carl. That concludes the end of the open section. We'll now move on to the embargoed section. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Cheers. Thank you.